Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera, a passionate destruction. Under the hot sun of Mexico, where art and passion intertwined, two giant artists met and wrote one of the most turbulent, most painful, yet inseparable love stories in art history. The story of Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera is not just a love story. It's also about betrayal, pain, art, and a battle to survive. There are no innocents in this story, only two souls dependent on each other. In 1928, young Frida Kahlo appeared before the famous painter Diego Rivera, who was creating massive murals at the Mexican Ministry of Education building. Diego was Mexico's most famous artist at the time, 42 years old, a huge man, a giant talent. Frida was only 21, small, delicate, but she carried an unquenchable fire in her eyes. Years earlier, a horrific streetcar accident had shattered her body, but it couldn't break her spirit. "Diego," she called out to him, "I'm not interested in you as a human being, but as a painter. Will you look at my paintings?" Diego looked down from the scaffolding at that small woman, at those defiant eyes. And at that moment, he knew. This was not an ordinary encounter. Diego looked at her paintings. He was amazed. This young woman had found a way to transfer pain onto canvas. "Continue," he said. "You have talent." But they both knew this wasn't just about paintings. Something had begun between them. Something indefinable, uncontrollable. They began to see each other. Diego fell in love with Frida's courage, her pain, her life force. Frida was mesmerized by Diego's genius. But Diego wasn't just a genius. He was also chaotic, unfaithful, uncontrollable. He had countless women in his past, had 3 failed marriages. Everyone warned Frida. "Diego will hurt you," they said. "He can't be faithful." Frida didn't care. "I will be the dove loved by the elephant," she said. They married in 1929. Everyone called this union the elephant and the dove. Diego was large, massive. Frida was small, delicate. But this wasn't just a physical difference. They were both giant personalities. Neither knew how to compromise. Their marriage was passionate and stormy from day one. Diego painted, Frida painted. Both were each other's biggest admirer, biggest critic, biggest enemy. They would argue all night, then make love passionately. The next day, they would fight again. This cycle never ended. But Diego had a problem. He couldn't be faithful. He had affairs with other women, didn't even try to hide it. Frida knew. Her heart broke every time, but she couldn't leave. She couldn't imagine life without Diego. She began to express this pain in her paintings. She poured her broken hearts, bleeding wounds, split self onto canvas. "When I think of losing Diego, I feel like I've lost my life," she wrote in her diary. "He is my everything, the center of my universe." Then came the real catastrophe. In 1934, Frida discovered that Diego was having an affair with her own sister, Christina. This wasn't just a betrayal, this was devastation. Frida's closest person, the person she trusted most, had stabbed her in the back. Diego didn't even seem remorseful. "I wasn't made for monogamy," he said simply. Frida was shattered. She cut her hair, put aside the long skirts Diego loved. In her paintings, she drew herself as a fragmented, bleeding, suffering woman. In the Little Deer painting, she depicted herself as a deer full of arrow wounds. "I hope the exit is joyful, and I hope never to return," she wrote. But she returned. She always returned. Because she didn't know how to live without Diego. And Diego couldn't live without Frida either. Frida told him, "Sleep with other women, I don't care. But don't give them your heart. Your heart belongs to me." Diego accepted the agreement, and Frida began to take revenge. She had an affair with Leon Trotsky. She was with other men, even women. She tried to forget her pain in other people's bodies, but none of it worked. because what she was looking for was Diego, and Diego was like no one else. In 1939, after years of pain and betrayals, Frida couldn't take it anymore and filed for divorce. "There have been 2 accidents in my life," she said. "One was the streetcar accident, the other was Diego." They divorced, but the separation was even more painful. Frida became ill, started drinking, became addicted to painkillers. In her paintings, she showed herself as alone, lost, half a person. She painted the 2 Fridas. In one, the Mexican Frida loved by Diego. In the other, the European Frida abandoned by Diego. The 2 Fridas' hearts were connected, and blood was dripping drop by drop. Diego wasn't happy either. He spent time with other women, but none were like Frida. None understood him, challenged him, completed him like she did. A year later, in 1940, Diego knocked on Frida's door. "Will you marry me again?" he said. Frida refused at first. Then she cried. Then she accepted. "Am I stupid?" she wrote in her diary. "Yes, but I can't live without Diego." They remarried. This time, Frida set conditions. "I'll live with you, but I won't sleep with you. I'll be financially independent. And I won't care about your other women." Diego agreed. Time would tell how much they followed through. Their second marriage was no less stormy than the first. Diego still had affairs with other women. So did Frida. But this time, there was a difference. They both knew that no matter what, they couldn't abandon each other. This was an addiction, unhealthy perhaps, but real. Frida's health gradually worsened. Her wounds from the accident, problems with her spine, slowly consumed her. She underwent dozens of surgeries. Her leg was amputated. The pain was unbearable. But she continued to paint. She transformed her pain into art. "I continue to suffer," she wrote, "but I'm alive. And I love Diego." Diego was by Frida's side during this difficult period. He would carry her to the hospital, wait during her surgeries, encourage her to paint. For the first time, Diego truly understood that he needed Frida, not just as passion, but as a human being. Frida gratefully accepted Diego's attention. "No one knows what Diego does for me," she said. "Everyone only sees the betrayals. But he's here for me every day, taking care of me." In 1954, Frida's first and only solo exhibition opened in Mexico. She was so ill that she came by ambulance. Her bed was moved to the gallery, and she watched her exhibition from her bed. Diego was beside her, holding her hand. "You did it," he told her. "You're a giant." Frida smiled. "These are paintings that tell our story, Diego. Our pain, our passion, our dependence on each other." Diego couldn't hold back his tears. For the first time, that huge man cried in front of Frida. A month later, on July 13th, 1954, Frida Kahlo died. The official cause of death was announced as pneumonia, but some thought she died of an overdose. Her last diary entry read, "I hope the exit is joyful, and I hope never to return." Diego was destroyed. He never left Frida's side. He organized the funeral himself. He wanted Frida's body cremated, and her ashes would remain in the blue house. Their house. Diego later said, "The worst day of my life was the day I met Frida. So was the best day." After Frida's death, Diego was never the same again. He painted, but no longer with the same passion. He married other women, but none were Frida. He constantly talked about Frida's paintings, photographs. "She was my greatest work," he said. "I painted walls, but she painted her own soul." In 1957, Diego Rivera also died. Some said he died of a broken heart. Maybe they were right. Today, Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera's house, the Blue House, is a museum. Their paintings hang on its walls. Frida's bed, her palettes, Diego's giant brushes are there, and their story is told in every corner. Betrayal, pain, passion, art, the inseparable bond between two giant artists to each other. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share your thoughts with us in the comments. Frida and Diego taught us this: love is not perfect. Sometimes it hurts, destroys, shatters. But true love is not abandoning despite all this. Despite all betrayals, all pain, it's standing by that person. Because some souls are bound to each other, and this bond, not even death can break.